Welcome everybody. Today we are doing our first War of the Ring board game tier list. This one will be for the Shadow Faction event cards. At the beginning of the game, this comes with the Warriors of Middle-earth expansion. This board game's awesome. I have all the expansions for it, so I've played it a lot, but there's certain factions I've used more than others. And today we're going to be doing a tier list of the faction event cards. So S is the best, F is the worst. And I think the best way to do this is to look at one faction at a time, read through the cards, and then essentially um, place them afterwards. So these are the Dunlendings. There's 3 factions for the Shadow, 3 for the Free People. They each have different recruitment rules for how you get this specific faction to play. The Dunlendings are normally the easiest one to get into play because I believe all you need is Saruman to be in play, which normally you want to do turn 1 if you can. So let's see. So Death to the Forgoil. Attack an army, a Free People army, including a Rohan or Gondor unit with a Shadow army in the same region with Dunlending figures. Dunlendings are considered Isengard regular units to the end of the battle. These guys have a stacking limit of 3, which is important. Sometimes you can want to have a ton of them all together at once, but you can only have 3 in one territory at a time. So that's that card. That is solid. We'll give a lot of credit there, especially because your opponent might not necessarily expect that you would be attacking at that specific moment if they know you only have I don't know what those are called, the Palantirs, where you get to play or draw a card. Essentially, it's unusual to be able to attack with a card, so maybe you can catch them off guard. Okay, Armed by Saruman. Play on the table if Isengard is at war. When this card is in play, Dunlending figures in a region with the Fellowship are considered Shadow Army figures for the purpose of the hunt. Dunlending figures in the same region with a Shadow Army add to its combat strength when one of their Call to Battle effects cards is used and can be taken as casualties against Ent attacks. The Free People player can force this to get discarded using a Will of the West action die, which is pretty expensive. This one is very, very good. There's 1 copy of this, 2 copies of each of these. And then the Wild Hillman. Recruit 1 Dunlending figure in each free Dunland settlement or add them to the starting setup. Then if the Dunlendings are in play, move all Dunlendings up to 2 regions. Yeah, so I actually think, so this one is going to be us. That's just so good. This card I got twice, and I think I used it 2 or 3 times this last game, because there's certain other things let you fetch things from your discard pile. I don't think I don't think I'm going to put this one in A, but I do think it belongs. You know what? I will be generous. We'll put Wild Hillman in A. And then Death to the Forgoil. Yeah, this one I'm just going to leave in B. I think this one is incredible. This one you can recruit and move and get them into a helpful spot. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of that one. Yep, so I think that's our first faction. Next, we will do the ships. Essentially, these are the Corsairs of Umbar. So let's do this again. So there's 2 copies of this. There are 2 copies of this and 1 copy of this. So let's see how this one works. Essentially, these ships you can use to transport your armies in almost everywhere in Gondor, in Osgiliath, I guess. So they can be really good, but you really need to get them somewhat early for them to be really helpful. But if you do get them, then you're looking good. Okay, so Black Sails. Play on the table if the Corsairs of Umbar are in play. You may use any faction die result to either recruit one Corsair figure in Umbar or move all Corsairs up to 4 region. If the Fellowship is at sea or revealed in the Gondor region, West, Herodor, or Osgiliath, you may discard one Corsair figure to inflict 1 point of hunt damage following the rules of a successful hunt. I actually don't think that one is that good. The Fellowship is typically not at sea. Almost never happens. But I have used it, and it's great. So I'm not thinking that one's too good, but let's keep seeing. Ships of Great Draught. Transport armies with Corsairs. Each Corsair figure may transport up to 2 Shadow units and any number of minions or Nazgul in its region. Can transport up to 2 Shadow armies. Sorry, I'm struggling with my reading here. Essentially, you can bring 2 armies. Each of them can bring 2 armies, and they can move 2 spots and attack, or 4 spots and not attack, essentially. So this card is really good. It's literally pivotal to being able to get these guys to work. And then a great fleet. Recruit 1 Corsair figure in Umbar. And then you kind of just get to move people. I think I'm going to put Great Draw in A tier. I don't think Black Sails is actually that important. I'm going to put it at C. And a great fleet. Yeah, we'll leave a great fleet in B. Yeah, we'll leave a great fleet in B. Alright, next one we're doing is the spiders. So the spiders are the one that I typically get out the least. But they're actually cool as well because each faction has 5 cards. These are 5 unique cards. So let's maybe start with the coolest one. We'll go with this one. The Craft of Shelob. Move all spiders up to 2 regions. If the Shelob's Lair special hunt tile is not entered play, it is now in play. And then essentially you add this, so then when they get to when they get to Mordor, this is one of the tiles that can be drawn. They don't get to advance. You roll a die, and that's how many damage is inflicted. So this one is really good. Yeah, this is also sick because that is probably just like the best hunt tile, and you don't even need to have the spiders in play to be able to play this. So it's very, very, very good. All right, let's go from over here. Her own offspring. Recruit 1 spider figure in Dol Guldur and 1 in Minas Morgul, or add them to the starting setup. Then, if the spiders are in play, move all spiders up to 2 regions. That's good. Reminds me of Wild Hillman. Yep, it's literally like the same exact thing. Children of Ungoliant. Play if the Fellowship is not in a region containing a free people settlement. Move all spiders up to 2 regions. Then you may discard 1 spider figure in the region with the Fellowship to inflict 1 point of hunt damage following the rules of a successful hunt. If the Fellowship is hidden, the free people player can choose to reveal it to prevent this damage. Man, that feels like you are doing so much in order to do almost nothing. Yeah, that's rough. Huge and horrible. Play on the table if Sauron is at war. When this card is in play, spider figures in a region with the Fellowship are considered Shadow Army units for the purposes of the hunt. Spider figures in the same region with the Shadow Army add to its combat strength when one of their call to battle effects is used. Free people can get rid of it using a Will of the West. Yeah, that seems actually really good. There's a few reasons that that's very solid. So, yep, a lot of credit. And then we have Evil Things. Play on the play if the Fellowship is not in a region containing a free people settlement. Move all spiders up to 2 regions. Then you may discard 1 spider figure in the region. Wait. In a region with the Fellowship to draw a hunt tile. Sorry, I thought that it was the same as this, but it's not. If the child shows an eye, discard it. Otherwise, follow the rules of a successful hunt. So interesting. So essentially, this faction is really just trying to go after the ring, which I think makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm gonna put her own offspring in A. I'm gonna put Huge and Horrible in S. I feel like this gives you some really, really interesting options. The Children of Ungoliant, I am just going to put in C. Because it does do something, I just don't love what it does. And then Evil Things, play if the Fellowship is not a region. Okay, sorry, we actually read this one already. This one I think is certainly better. It's really rough if you get an I. I'm just going to put it in B, though. And then we have our last 2 cards. There are, let's see, 2 of these and 3 of these in the deck. Servants of Sauron. Draw 3 cards from the faction event deck. Add 1 of them to your hand. Then reshuffle the remaining 2 cards into the deck together with the faction event cards in your discard pile, including this one. Don't love it. And then this is His Will and His Malice. Choose 1 faction event card in your discard pile and add it to your hand. Okay, so both of these I significantly dislike because you are using an action in order to do pretty much nothing for yourself. Like, the best cards that you could fetch with these are these, but this card in the middle would do nothing. And then these 2 you play on the table. So there's no, unless your opponent makes you get rid of them, you wouldn't ever need to get them back. And even if your opponent makes you get rid of them, you play it for 1 die. Your opponent uses a Will of the West die to get rid of it, and then you play this card to fetch it and another card to put it in play. So it's essentially like you've done 3 things and your opponent has done 1 thing. It just feels so inefficient. I kind of hate it. So this one's going to go in F. And then I kind of hate this as well. Yep, so I'm going to put both those in F. On my turn, if I'm not doing something that's actually going to change the board state, I feel like there's almost no point in doing it. Yep, so that's my tier list. So this is actually really, really even. I guess I'll just spread these out just a little bit. Hopefully you can see those. But, yep, that's our first video. Thanks for watching, everybody.